Can we hear each other?
I can hear you.
Oh, good. There we go.
All right. Let me close some of these extra windows I have then. Now I can... So it looked like there were a couple other people on now.
On
Join.
on what?
On Slack.
Oh.
How many of us are there? Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4,
Alex.
5.
Let's see.
Alex and Cade look like they're online.
So how are you two doing in the class? Still overwhelmed?
Yeah, a little bit.
Tonight and tomorrow I'm going to be doing a fluid symphony. So hoping to get that all worked out and together.
Oh, good.
That's good. Yeah, it shouldn't be. Yeah, from when I did it was just post the link to what you've done and he'll look at it.
Uh-huh.
So are you doing it in turn? Are you like recording a presentation when you're posted that you're posting a link to, or are you doing slides? What are you doing?
I just sent my web page with links to what I did, so it's just web pages of what I did.
Oh, that's clever.
That was my understanding how we did it. So
That's a requirement.
yeah, I haven't. Let me see. I need to update mine because I'm gonna be doing mine again. This is from a couple of weeks ago, but I can share my screen again. I'll be
Oh,
presenting.
that would be great.
Soon. If I can find my window that I'm looking for. Okay, let's come over here. Just a second. What is it? Where'd you go? No, I know I did this before. Oh, there it is. That one. And so I just did a site that here's links to what I did, and I just put a date by it and just explained what I did. And this is just what I sent him just right here.
Nice.
And so you just click it and it takes you to what I did. So I need to add some stuff I've done this week and last week. I have them up on the website. One of them I'm still working on, but the presentation I'm doing tonight is actually part of it as well. Let me get to it. What was it?
Cool. This transformations?
Yes.
Or animations?
It's I always get these mixed up. It's transforms, I believe. But to show the transforms, I did animations and transitions so you can actually see the transforms.
Cool.
That's very cool.
So, and then I have the code that I can show you. I'll get into here. So should we start? Should we wait just a little bit, or are we good to go?
We've got Kate and Alex here, it looks like. I think we're okay to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just sitting down for dinner, but I can hear you guys, so we're good.
Okay. I'll just show what I have. I'm basically going to be going over 2D transforms. There's 3D transforms, but I didn't get into that this week. But there's basically 4 different, well, there's a 5th one as well, but there's 4 that you can basically use mostly. So this is, you just type it in the CSS, you just do your transform, and then you just say what you're transforming. The first one's a translate. An example of it, you can watch the little green blob thing, and so when I click this, the translate just moves it somewhere. You just kind of tell it, and so he moves. So that's an example of the translate. I'm translating the X coordinate, and I'm just moving it 20 pixels. So you can put a negative in, and it would go the other way. You can do a translate Y for up and down. And like I could even show you that really fast with the Y. And so the positive is actually going down and the negative's going up. If you can just do translate, and it's the same as translate X. The other advantage is with translate, you can also translate the Y as well. So you put in, this would be the X coordinates, and this would be the Y coordinates. So when I do this, it goes it goes in the diagonal. You can rotate things, so that's the next transform, is you do your transform and then you say you're going to rotate. And so I rotate this guy 720, and then he rotates back. So these are using actually a what are they called? Transitions. And so I basically add a class, and when I add the confusion class, it will just transform it to this. I can actually show you that somewhere here. Oh, where's my translate? So this is my enemy, and so it translates for 1.3 seconds. So you just tell transition, I'm just translating the transform. So that's what's being animated, and then so I add the class this. So I add this class, and that's when he moves, and it takes 1.3 seconds to do it, and then when I remove it, it goes back to its previous. With the rotate, you can do degrees or radians. I'm used to degrees, so I usually use degrees, but you can use radians, which 720 is a lot bigger than the degrees if you're doing degrees. The transform, with next one is just a scale. You can make them bigger, you can make them smaller. So in this one, I make them smaller. You just put 1 is just 100% size. So if I do 1 and I click it, you're not going to see anything. It's going to stay the same size. 2 is going to be 2 times bigger. And you can also do negatives if you want. And so you can kind of see what it's going to do here. It's going to shrink it, so it's going to start at 1, and then it goes down to 0, and then goes up to the -2. So he's going to get 2 times as big. You can also skew it. This is you can kind of see it skewing. It takes an X and Y as well. You can do it similar to the translate, where the first one's X and the first one's Y, and the second one's Y. So if you remove the first or the second one, it's just going to do X, which is my main skew anyway here. And it can do the skew Y and skew X as well if you want to. So if I skew Y, let's just see if I can. No, I have 2 skews, so I can go both directions here. It adds this class, removes it, and then adds this class. So that's why you're seeing it go one way and then the other way. Let me just undo all that. And so with all that, you can also add them all together. So this the last one, there's some fun stuff I did. And so you'll see it skews it, it rotates it, it scales it, and it translates. So you can use all of these together in one transform if you want to. So I have a couple other things here transformed. So this is my little fun thing that I did. So now one thing to note is the order you do this does make a difference, because what it's doing here is it's skewing it, then it rotates, then it moves, and so it actually makes it spin around. One of the good examples.
That one again.
Yeah, I can do this again. So yeah, I've been working with canvases and sound effects as well. So this one's kind of a combination of all of it.
Got eaten.
So, and here's an example of like what happens if you do like the translate first. It's gonna move while it, well, it might be the best to just kind of show you what it does here. So you might have to mess with it sometimes. So he goes back. So he moves, and then as he's moving, he's rotating, versus as he's rotating, he's moving, which makes the spiral. So the order you put these in does make a difference. It does change it up. The last one, I'm not really going to go over. It's really complicated, and basically what it is it deals, you can do all the translates, rotates, scales, and all of this in one thing. Actually, I'll probably just pull up the transform, and it's the, oh, I forgot what it's called now. I believe it's the matrix. It's complicated, and you can basically do, I think, everything you want to with the 2D and 3D. Let's see here. Where's there? So here's a matrix. It's just kind of complicated where it's using, I don't know. You kind of have to know what a matrix is, and I really don't quite understand it completely. But in general, according to what you put these numbers as, it does a translate, a rotate, a scale, and even the matrix can be used as in the 3D one as well, where this one, the 2D just has the 6 numbers you put in. If I remember correctly, the 3D one, I'm trying to remember if it does 9 or 12. Let's see here.
So David, on the matrix, it looks like it does a skew, translate, and a scale. That's what the parameters mean.
Yeah, I think it somehow it actually uses a matrix. I know I found this site once, and it kind of went briefly over it a bit more. So it has, like, this shows a matrix here. So I think somehow, like, I think this is more the 3D one, and it's kind of that's what those numbers are for. If I remember correctly, where's the, so it can look like that. I'm looking for, I don't know. It seems like the basic nothing moves. It's like this one, this top one's a 1, this one's a, this middle one's a 1, and this bottom one's a 1, and the rest are zeros. And then you can adjust those, and it does calculations to figure out how it moves. I thought there's a better example somewhere here. Oh, so this, here it is. This kind of talks about how it does a scale. Let's see, all the other CS3 transforms functions have equivalent matrix notations to them. So this translate X and Y. You put the ones there, and then you put the that one up there is for the X translate. This one's for the Y translate. I believe this one, well, I don't know. Yeah, so you can kind of look it up, but in general, it seems like I've tried messing with these before, and they're very hard to calculate and know what they're going to do. My recommendation is just to stick with the translate, rotate, scale, and skew. At least get those down first, and then move on to the matrices if you want to, or probably do some of the 3D ones first, and then you can come over to the matrices. I know it does create the matrices when you, some of the JavaScript does use it. Some of my JavaScript, it actually, for example, when I'm charging it, I can make a little one. And what it's actually doing to get the size of it, to keep it the same, instead of keep growing, is I actually pause it, but I look at the property and where it is at right at that point of the translate or the transform. But it something I notice is it returns a matrix is what it actually is returning. It doesn't return, I'm just doing the scale, but it returns a matrix back to me when I ask for what's to transform at in JavaScript. So if somebody else wants to, who's ever teaching this next, if they want to do 3D or the matrices, go ahead. Maybe they can figure it out a little better than I can, at least the matrices. So that's my presentation. That's what I had planned. Oh, one last thing. Like, these are also using the transforms, the characters. The other thing you can do is, let me see, where's my origin? You can do a transform origin, which tells you kind of where it's transforming from, or kind of, you're almost like sticking a pin in that location. An example is with him, I'm kind of squashing and squishing him, but to anchor him at the bottom, my origin I actually have at 100% or at the bottom, like right here. And that's why he's stuck on the bottom instead of, as he squishes, floating up here. So you can use the origin to tell exactly where you kind of want to ground him or something. So
That kind of sounds like the anchor point in like Photoshop files.
yeah, I think it's like an anchor point. Yeah, it's the anchor point basically where you can put it, and then like if I put the anchor point here, I can he would rotate around that point. So yeah, it's like moving that anchor point.
I feel like he should have a mouth or something because he looks like he'd be eating.
Hey,
Yeah.
David, is the anchor point set in the CSS or is it set in the JavaScript?
Is the what set?
The anchor point where you're rotating around?
I have it set in the CSS. You can manipulate these things inside of the JavaScript as well if you want to. I have code here that's, most of it's just adding classes, toggling classes on and off. There is one point, like with the size, any of the CSS properties. So this one, so I'm grabbing my element, my magic bolt. Kind of some of this is stuff I just found. It, oh, actually, don't know if that's supposed to be a comma. It's probably supposed to be a. Makes a difference. Sorry. Let's see here. Where was I? And So right here, I'm grabbing my magic item, my little bolt, and I'm grabbing, okay, what is the size of it? I'm grabbing the transform CSS property. So you can grab basically any of these properties. And then once you have them, if you want to, so I'm taking it and I'm setting the transform to this size. So I'm saying, oh, this is the size I wanted. And so that's stopping the transform because that's where it's at and that's what I'm setting it at. So it doesn't have anything else to change to. Then later on, I also take it in here and I can just enter in, I want the scale to be 0. And so that's what actually makes it disappear. And I kind of move it back to this original location. So you can control it in the JavaScript as well. You just do it like you would change other CSS. You get your document, your item, and then you, oh, I just lost myself there. Where was that? You grab the style of it, you tell it which CSS property you're changing, and then what you're changing it to. And you just put the CSS code in here.
Okay.
So you could do the same thing with the origins if you wanted to. You should be able to. You might have to look up the syntax to make sure it works. Sometimes I think some of these, the names are a little bit different than this. I don't know if this would do it exactly. That looks like, I'm trying to remember how they do it when there's dashes. I don't know if it's that. I'd have to look that up.
Okay.
To do the origin, but I know you can adjust it in JavaScript. It's going to be something similar to this. It seems like there is some type of thing that I've seen where they somehow either just get rid of the, I don't know if they just do origin or, I don't know. Something to look up, I guess, to figure out how to do a specific one if you want to. Something I can look up to remember how they deal with those dashes.
I've just messed with CSS a little bit. Do you find it easier to manipulate this in CSS or with the JavaScript?
Most of it's in CSS. I have taken quite a, I've done quite a bit with CSS. It is mostly the transitions, animations, transforms. As far as I am aware of, they're mostly a CSS. And how the JavaScript usually works when I've looked it up online is you basically, so I have this class, at least for like the transforms, you have the class, and then what you do in the JavaScript is you just tell the, you're basically saying, ooh, I want to add this class to that object.
Mm-hmm.
So when I want to translate it 200 degrees, I add the class knockback. And so when I come up to my knockback function here, I just toggle the knock. So toggle, if it's on, it will turn it. If it's there, it will remove it. And if it's not there, it will add it. And so here I'm just toggling it on, and then this is just setting a timer saying wait, and then I call my reset, and then this right here is just toggling it off.
Okay.
The other thing you can do, if you don't want to do toggle, I think some of mine, I did a, I thought it was in my magic bolt here somewhere. You can do a class list and you can do remove to remove a class. Or you can do, instead of remove, I believe it's, let's see here, I think it was add if I remember correctly. Yeah, you can add. So with this one, I'm removing my class to make the boat grow, and I'm adding a class to fire. And so this is the fire, so it's the one that moves it. So you can do remove and add if you want to as well. So you can use toggle, add, or remove for the classes, and that will kind of, you can use that to turn on transitions and animations if you want to as well.
Interesting. Excellent presentation.
Thanks.
Yay! Good job.
Great job.
Awesome. Okay, Richard, what are you presenting on later?
Later, hang on, let me see. Whoa, we've got Inception going on.
Let me.
Let me see here.
Oh, you're doing local storage, I think.
I believe that was what I'm signed up for. Yeah.
Awesome.
Sorry, my wife also walked in right as you guys, right as we unmuted. Yeah, local storage is what I've got. So I'll try and get that together, either record it for this weekend or present it for next week.
Sounds good. Yeah, I was looking up some of that stuff today just to try and start working on it. So that'll be nice to have a reference from you.
Well, hopefully I'll be able to get it. So.
Sure, it'll be good. Cool. Yeah, it looks like we're supposed to have Justin presenting tonight as well, but he's kind of disappeared.
Uh-oh.
So I don't know. Last time I checked, though, I looked at the class list and he's still in the class.
Is Justin on our list here anymore?
Yeah, I don't see Justin. I don't see Justin on our spreadsheet.
So he's not on the upper one, but he is down on our lower.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see it.
Okay. Maybe I'm looking at the wrong.
So he was supposed to present last week, this week, and then in week 7. Let's see, it's used in JavaScript. Okay.
Yeah, so I will try to get it together. I saw it midweek, and then I actually wound up doing all of the group work for another class. So.
Well, don't you hate that?
Yeah.
What class is that for?
CIT 380. What was it? 381, I think.
Business intelligence and analytics.
Yeah. Yep, that's it.
Shoot.
Yeah, so we'd set up for me to do a presentation, and someone else was going to do the report on it, and then I wound up doing all of it. So.
Oh, see,
Yeah.
so I just started doing a little group project this week. It's not really. It's just one where we have to pick like a model and do just a spreadsheet and a few other, like a diagram, but we don't have to present on it. So.
Oh, what
I wonder-
teacher do
we
you
just
have?
As I say, we must have different teachers.
Yeah, I think so.
I can remember the name. 381. I have 7 classes, so I don't remember
I
people's
hear.
names.
Yeah. I'm going in to look mine up because I don't remember either.
Might be. No, that's for this class, I think. Brother Haymore. Richard Haymore.
Oh wait, no, it's not 381. Sorry, I'm not right about that. 380?
Project management?
Yes.
Okay, I'm taking that as well.
You're in that one too. It's
brag?
project. I'm looking. Oh, I wouldn't say that on the syllabus. That would be too easy. Overview. Here we go. I've got Brother Bragg.
Okay, that's mine too. Yep.
Yeah. Which group are you in?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Fine. You're not in my group. I know that much.
I think it might be group 3. Group 3?
I may have been looking at your group's project to help me figure out how to do ours.
Oh, my presentation kind of sucked this week, so
Yeah, mine did too. So, well, cool. Yeah, so I wound up spending most of yesterday on that kind of stuff. So,
Oh, I hear ya. I hear ya. So, okay. Well, we look forward to hearing about your next presentation.
yep,
Uh-oh.
I'll either record it for this weekend or have it ready for next week, kind of depending on how
great.
things go.
Great. Yep. I'll go ahead and post this presentation up on Slack for anybody who
Great.
wants to go back and review it. So, I think that's all for tonight.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.